Hello and welcome to Out and About. I'm Diane Gonzalez. One of Lincoln's favorite spots is the beautiful Sunken Gardens, and it will be an especially fun place to visit Saturday, September 9th. That's when the 5th annual Art in the Garden will fill the park with artwork inspired by nature. And joining us are two of the key people behind this great event. Julia Noyes is a local artist and owner of the Noyes Art Gallery. And Steve Nozzle works for the City Parks and Recreation Department. He and Alice Reed are the designers for the Sunken Gardens. Thank you both so much for being with us.
Thank you, Diane.
Let's start with how this all began. Whose idea was it? And
well, Alice and I had toyed with an idea for years, almost 10 years before we ran into Julia, to have some sort of an art event in the garden where artists could come out and actually show their skills, do painting, whatever, display it. And one day I was down in the garden, I believe you were down there with your mother, and you had brought it up, and it's like, finally, somebody stepped forward that wanted to do this. And that's how it happened. And then from there, it has just evolved.
And Julia, what's the experience been like for you?
Oh my gosh, Diane, this is so wonderful because it's a community event. It's free to the community, so people of all ages come, bring your family, bring your kids. And because there's over 50 artists with art booths around the garden, and we have about 20-some musicians who are going to be playing for free, volunteers. In case anybody wants to volunteer, we'd love more musicians. We have 2 dance troupes, we have a storyteller, so it's enchanting. And the Sunken Gardens is my favorite place in the universe. So you get to see the garden, which is gorgeous, and every year it's different. See the art, enjoy music, enjoy the dance, have your children enjoy a storyteller. I mean, it's a slam dunk. So it's really quite a wonderful event.
Now you mentioned that this is the event is free, but it's also a fundraiser for parks because the artwork itself is for sale, and some of the proceeds go back to the Sunken Gardens.
That is correct. So we work hand in hand with the garden, and without Lynn Johnson and of course Steve and Alice, this event would never happen.
All right. The garden theme this year, Purple Rain, R-E-I-G-N, and that's inspired by the late great Prince and his purple R-A-I-N. Tell us about how you came up with the theme and what you've planted.
Well, it's always a sort of a community effort. I really am, and Alice is too, observant as to what the population of Lincoln want or what they see. And several people stepped forward and said, please do something for, Prince, and so we came up with the idea of Purple Rain. Of course, David Bowie came to mind with a lot of that since they both passed last year. And of course, the paisley is a main design of Prince, and so trying to piece all that together is how we came up with the design this year.
And tell me what's planted.
Well, it isn't planted.
Things that are purple.
Yeah, a lot of purple things. Everything from strobilanthus to, which is now I can't remember the name of it, purple hearts, purple everything. And purple is a tough color because it's so dark. And so we have, as we put it in the spring, everything was purple. Now it's all starting to evolve into the silver. The color weaving is starting to come through, but there's still a lot of purple in the garden.
I love that there's a theme every year. It makes it new and different for people who come on a regular basis.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's just like being a musician. You never write the same song twice. So every year, Alice and I challenge ourselves to come up with a different one.
Good job. Good job,
well,
Steve.
Thank you.
Also, the theme is carried out by the artists as well. So tell us a little bit about how they're doing that. I understand there's even a fairy kingdom this year.
There is. So we decided, okay, Purple Rain, how could we use that? So we're also doing the takeoff on rain, like if you're a queen or a prince or a princess. So we're doing these flower wreaths that will, people can make wreaths that day. And so each artist decides what they're going to create for the garden. A lot of them will be doing things inspired by the garden, the flowers, or the whole magical princess,
Kingdom.
Rain. Yes,
Yeah.
so using that take off on whatever direction they want. So it'll be quite interesting because we have lots of painters, jewelers, sculptors. One gal does silk scarves. We're going to have a life-size bison sculpture.
Oh, I've
that
seen
Mark
that.
Azar,
It's great. I saw it at the Lincoln Arts Festival last year.
Yeah. So this is a new one. So last year he did a horse, but this year he did a bison. So those, there's going to be some really huge pieces, but also lots of small pieces of art too.
All right. And tell us, you said it is free for people to attend. The artwork's for sale, but it's not free for you. Events cost money, and you've been helped with some good sponsors.
Yes, we have. We couldn't do it without our sponsors. Great Western has helped us for several years now, and then Emeritus is helping us this year because the flyers, the signs, all these other things, even though people donate their time and everything, it still costs. So we're very appreciative of Emeritus and Great Western, but also the Lincoln Parks and Recreation, they help us, and Party in the Parks. So actually those 4 sponsors make this possible.
That's wonderful. And Steve, what has Art in the Garden done for the gardens themselves?
I think it has helped us, not only the gardens, but the city of Lincoln come full circle with arts. When I moved here over 40 some years ago to do the gardens, the art community was in the galleries, it was sort of fledgling, but it wasn't on the streets. And today you see art everywhere there, from painting alleys downtown in Lincoln to painting the manhole covers for the streams, which they just have been doing. I see the artists coming out, and you have to compliment what this particular event has done. It has shown people that you can take art outside and expose everybody to it. It's a wonderful thing.
Let's hope we can take it outside. There is a rain location, the Ald Recreation Center, but I think the weather's going to be great. What about you?
Well, it would have to be really terrible. It'd have to be a tornado for us to cancel the event or to move to the Ald Center. But it is nice to have a backup.
Got to have a backup. It's Nebraska, so.
And there's free parking across the street at the Rose Garden, so that's wonderful. So people can really enjoy the day. We will have a food truck and a drink truck at the garden, which we've never done before. So people could purchase that and stay for the day.
Stay for the day. I'll give you all the details. Art in the Garden is 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, September 9th at the Sunken Gardens. The rain location, of course, is the Ald Rec Center. And if you'd like more information, you can call the phone number listed there or go to the noiseartgallery.com website and check everything out. Thank you both very much for being here, and good luck with the 5th annual Art in the Garden.
Thank you.
And the farmers markets are in full swing, but some of the local music series are starting to wind down. We'll have a list of all of those during the break. And then Jeff Mall will join us from the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Stay with us. Welcome back to Out and About. Jeff Mall joins us now from the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the eclipse has kind of taken over, hasn't it?
It sure has, and we've known about this thing for a very long time, this thing they call the total solar eclipse. It's going to be totality, it's going to be totally dark. People in the last 3 weeks, Diane, have just started to wake up and say, hey, this is going to be a big deal. And I'll tell you what, 5,200 hotel rooms, a little over 5,200 hotel rooms exist in Lincoln and Lancaster County. We are sold out for Sunday night, August 20th. Major news media are talking about this, and I was talking with Tom Lorenz off camera that's a big weekend for our community. We're talking about the eclipse on the 21st, but we've got a concert, we've got Rib Fest, a lot of things Tom's going to talk about. that's going to be a busy time in Lincoln. So it's just a lot of fun to think about.
Absolutely. If you don't want to brave the traffic heading a little bit south, the eclipse is going to last a little bit longer down south. Pioneers Park's a great option for those who
Yep.
who want to stay in the city, but also kind of get outside of the city and experience it as a group.
Yeah,
So-
Pioneers Park Nature Center, Spring Creek Prairie Audubon Center. I know a lot of things going on at the city park, so going to be a lot of great viewing points. This is the one event I have no control over where people watch it. It's truly going to be a remarkable time.
Also, the Salt Dogs have a game that day. Let's take a look at the Salt Dogs schedule. Of course, they play Sioux City in August 10th through the 13th, but then the Solar Eclipse game, August 21st. The first 3,500 people who show up are going to get the special glasses.
Yep.
And then they're actually going to take a delay during the game for the eclipse. I think that would be a really cool place to experience it as well.
It's going to be neat. That's the one that we're working the most with right now. This was kind of an idea that we had. We're going to have some great education from UNL. I know a lot of their astronomy department reps will be over there. Education starting at 11 o'clock for that game versus Gary South Shore, game at 12 o'clock. Go into that eclipse delay, and like you said, we're going to have about 3,500 glasses available. And our Lincoln Visitor Center down at 7th and Peace, sometime during the month of August, we'll have another 3,500 solar eclipse glasses available as well.
Great. Now we want to mention other promotions that they have with the Salt Dogs, of course, Fireworks Fridays. And the game on the 26th is Husker Legends Night. They're going to have featuring Johnny Rogers, Mike Rozier, Eric Crouch, and Tom Osborne. Those are familiar names in Nebraska,
Very familiar
aren't
names,
they?
yes.
All right. Baseball season winds down. Football is just around the corner, and get ready with the marching band.
That's right. The Cornhusker Marching Band exhibition show will take place very soon. And this is an opportunity to see what they're going to do at the upcoming football season, the things that they're going to do on the football field. They've been at band camp all summer. They'll get a chance to roll this out at Memorial Stadium, so it should be a lot of fun.
All right, let's talk a little tennis. Have you been to Woods to see the
I
beautiful new
have.
facility?
It's amazing,
great.
yes.
It is. It's great. It's a big plus for our community. The Lincoln Adult Open is coming up. It's been going on for many, many years. This year, they're adding wheelchair divisions to the tournament, so that's a major milestone for the tennis community. I happen to know several past Lincoln Open champions.
I could imagine. You do know a few,
It's
right?
it's a fun time. So if you can get out to Woods, if you haven't been to the new facility yet, this would be a
Yes.
great time to go visit and support the athletes. Let's talk about a couple events at the rail yard.
Yeah, this first one's the third annual Skate Art Music Festival, a combination of the Bay, and the Bay does a lot of great things for children and women in our community. This is going to be a lot of fun. It'll be full of an ultimate skate art music experience. A lot of great sensory overload going on with
Sounds
music
like
and
it.
skating, so it should be a lot of fun.
And then Rail Yard Riot is coming up on September 10th.
Yes, and the Rail Yard Riot doesn't sound near as aggressive as the title says it is, but this is all about CrossFit. CrossFit is a very aggressive form of exercise and health and wellness, so great opportunity to come down to Rail Yard to experience some great CrossFit action.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the craft beer tour, which has been going on. We want to remind people of the locations that are coming up. It's a great way to celebrate the ever-growing craft beer industry here in Lincoln and in Nebraska.
Yeah, we've got about 9 weeks of programming coming up. We'll be at Shillingbridge on the 16th, Granite City on the 23rd, and on the 30th at the brand new Code Beer Company. And we'll have a culmination event on September 6th to be announced. This is all part of a promotion we started back in May. We put out the first ever Lincoln Beer Guide, a passport program. Those things went so fast. 600 guides went in 3.5 days. We're considering a reprint in August, so stay tuned. And I'll tell you, there's just been some great conversation and partnerships with this beer tour.
It's a great industry here in our town, and they make some great beer.
They do.
Absolutely. All right, Ignite Lincoln 9 is coming up. 15 people have 5 minutes and 20 slides to talk about their passion.
That sounds very intriguing, by the way.
It
What's
is.
neat about this is 100% of the proceeds from this event and ticket sales go to 5 local nonprofits. A lot of great profits go back to those. This Ignite Lincoln movement is very powerful, and people really have to think on their toes.
It's a good exercise, and
Yes.
the limit with the 5 minutes and the 20 slides, I think that adds a lot of excitement to
I
it.
think if we had to do all this in 5 minutes.
We'd be talking a little. We'd be talking a little bit faster,
Yes.
as if we don't talk fast
I
enough already.
know. Here we go.
Okay. All right. Theater. Smoky Joe's Cafe is coming up at Tada.
A lot of great music, Poison Ivy, Charlie Brown, Jailhouse Rock, a lot of great things going on over at the Todoa Theater with Smoky Joe's Cafe.
And if you're feeling patriotic, do not miss 1776 at Nebraska Wesleyan. Boy, they've been working on this before school opens, so this is a great musical.
Yeah.
It's the Broadway hit about the Declaration of Independence. I've seen it. It's great.
So you've
I haven't seen this
Right.
production, but I have seen 1776.
They do a lot of great things over at Wesleyan.
And Omni Arts is doing Agnes of God, a very serious drama.
Yes, a powerful drama that explores questions of religion and psychology. It's been a hit on Broadway and later on film. This will be at the Carson Theater at the Lead Center.
Let's go to the Quilt Center now. They've been running a series about why quilts matter, and this is episode 6, kind of looking at how quilts went from being household items to art.
That's right, and guests will have a chance to explore the path of the once exemplary quilt from maker to museum and get a lot of chance. It's an opportunity more or less to talk with the quilt makers, discover the stories, because so much of what you see is in its final form, but you have to realize that years and years and years led up to this, so just a lot of great discussions with quilts.
And the Quilt Center is always a great time to visit. What a great museum to have here in our city.
Oh, and I have to really point out, there's something for everybody there, whether you're a male, a female, a child, a student, whatever. This isn't just about the women, and this is just a great opportunity. And again, partner it with a trip to the Tractor Test and Power
Oh, there you
Museum.
go. Yeah.
And then once you're done quilting and tractoring, you go to the dairy store on East Campus. I've got this one all figured out.
That sounds great. There's a couple of exhibits at the Great Plains Art Museum. Photo exhibit talks about what is a family.
Yep, Sheldon's collection to offer unique perspectives on marriage, parenthood, family life, and genealogy, all to discover there at the museum.
And then the Great Plains is also hosting a Nebraska 150 anniversary event. This is a collection that depicts Nebraska that were created by Nebraska artists.
Yeah, and just one of the many pieces that stay, I call it in hiding, but a lot of this has been behind the scenes. They get a chance to roll it out, just a lot of great artwork and history behind the scenes.
The Lux Center has an interesting exhibition called The Female Gaze Returned. UNL professor Sandra Williams curated this exhibition that looks at the role of the female gaze.
Yes. 5 women artists are going to, are you gazing at me
I'm
right now? This is
gazing
really
at
hard
you.
to do, by the way. 5 women artists will be discussed, and the actual Lux Center for the Arts is on North 48th Street.
Lincoln Bicycle Art Tour is coming up. This one starts at Tugboat. Take your bikes and go around to some galleries and then end up at the rail yard.
Yeah, the art is sponsored by Darger HQ and Tugboat Gallery. Lincoln artists will open up their home studios to the public.
Streets Alive is coming up. This is an outdoor movement festival, and this year it's going to be in the Belmont neighborhood.
That's right, 2 miles that are car-free, totally safe. 100 health and wellness exhibitors, entertainers, sports, and fitness demonstrations will take place during the 2017 Streets Alive Festival. I've had a chance to be a part of this in years past, and it's just a great, safe environment for people to enjoy the streets of Lincoln.
Get to play in the streets.
Yes. You don't get to do that anymore.
Don't
Now,
get to do
I
that
played
very
in the
often.
streets a lot as a kid. I couldn't even think about telling my kids, hey,
Which,
go play in the street.
streets. This is your chance.
Yes.
Let's talk about some fun things coming up at the zoo. We want to remind people that Wednesdays are Wild Wednesdays.
Yep, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. The zoo is open late. They'll feature animal demonstrations on the animal encounter stage. The zoo season is kind of flying right now, right?
it's
School's
kinda
going to be
winding
starting
down.
soon.
Yeah. Labor Day, we want to remind people also the zoo will be open all day Labor Day weekend. It's kind of your last chance to see Laura's Butterfly
Yes,
Pavilion,
how
and
sad.
then they'll go into their winter hours. It'll be great when the zoo is open all year round.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend's kind of a great way. You get school going and then you get Labor Day off, so I encourage people to go to the zoo.
Grandparents' Day at the zoo is coming up September 10th, and grandparents get a free admission, a free train ride, but there's a catch. You have to take those darn grandkids
Of course,
with you.
right. Grandkids, the ones you can always hand back when you're done with them, right?
It's the best thing in the world. I can't imagine going to the zoo without a grandkid.
I know.
So, but maybe for some adult activity.
That's
but
right,
You
that's
got to
right.
have a kid when you go to the
Yes,
zoo.
yes.
Lots of fun also at the Pioneers Park Nature Center with, we're going to start with the hayrack ride.
That's right, and the hayrack ride will give you a chance to see the grounds, including the Nature Center and all the great facilities out there. And they'll get a chance to talk to you about the solar eclipse, and there's just great viewing points out there as well. Space is limited. Go online, give them a call to reserve a spot.
The Mystery on the Prairie is coming up on the 26th. This is something that would be kind of fun. You dress up in costume and go out there and experience 1890 Coyote Canyon. And notice
Yep.
I didn't say coyote.
Coyote.
Coyote Canyon.
That's right. You'll dress the part, late 1890s or so, and get a chance to discover the area around there.
The Wild Fall Festival is coming up in September. This is a free family event. They will have hay rock rides for $3,
Yes.
but otherwise lots of animals, hands-on activities, food for vendors. It's always a fun event out there.
And a great transformation from summer to fall will give you a good idea what nature has to do with that.
Pop-In Storytime is going to feature one of the things Lincolnites are passionate about, and that is our trees.
Yep, everyone is invited to participate in Pop-In Storytime. However, the stories and activities are for ages 3 through 5. Trees, a particularly interesting subject right now for the city of
Yes,
Lincoln.
it is, as we face that darn
I know.
emerald ash borer.
I know.
All right, Investigate Second Saturday is going to take on the topic of sports technology.
That's right, and don't forget every 3 Investigate events you will attend qualify you for a prize as a science investigator, and the prizes that are given away at the end of the program. Sports technology is particularly interesting for the city of Lincoln, with companies like Huddle have done so many great things on an international scale.
We're going to talk about tractors, trucks, trains, and planes, and this is a collaboration between the Lincoln Children's Museum and the airport.
Yeah, a lot of great static exhibits, but the opportunity to learn from drivers, pilots, and others on site as they interact with people that are engaged in each of those industries.
And Jeff, I know you love cars. We got several car events now to
Yes.
talk about, starting with the Sports Car Club of America. This is a
Yes.
big deal every year.
This is their solo national championships. This is an event that used to be down at Heartland Park in Topeka. We've had this now for so many great years, and great opportunity to stop out there and see over 1,300 competitors as they race in and out of cones to time.
Now, September 10th, you could spend your whole day at car shows because, let's say you start in Havelock with the All Makes Car and Truck Show. They have a very wide variety. This is their 36th annual.
Yeah, and what's neat about this is Havelock itself. It's a great opportunity to see what is a small town for a lot of people when they drive through Havelock. Great opportunity to experience this, and it will take place right around the aisles at Pub and Pizza.
Great place for pizza.
Of course.
All right, if you haven't had enough cars for that day, you can head to the Corvette show at Westgate Bank.
That's right. It's hard to believe. Over 200 Corvettes will converge on the Westgate Bank Center on Sunday, September 10th. From 8 to 4, Corvettes of all shapes and sizes.
I love Corvettes.
Yes.
And we want to remind people the Lancaster County Super Fair is going on through August 12th at the Lancaster Events Center. We talked about it last month, but we want to mention the Froggy 98 is sponsoring a free music series, karaoke, hip hop. The Link Continental's Barbershop Chorus is going to be there, country, Latin, top 40. You can find the whole schedule for all the great music at the Events Center at superfair.org.
That's right. A lot of pies, watermelon, a lot of great food on a stick, fried food on a stick.
Fried food on a
You
stick.
know, get out and support it. The Lancaster Event Center does a lot of great things in our community, and it's hard to believe to me how many people have never set foot in the Lancaster Event Center. 84th and Havelock, make it a point this year to get to the Super Fair.
And for more information about what's going on around Lincoln, Eclipse Central is lincoln.org.
Yes, go to lincoln.org, give us a call at 434-5348. That's our visitor center down at 7th and P. A lot of great energy and excitement going on in Lincoln.
Well, as Jeff mentioned, there's a lot more going on at the Event Center. We're going to be running a list during the break. And then we'll have the latest from Pinnacle Bank Arena and Pinewood Bowl, so stay with us. Welcome back to Out and About. Tom Lorenz joins us now from Pinnacle Bank Arena and Pinewood Bowl. And Pinnacle Bank Arena again ranked as one of the nation's top arenas for ticket sales.
Polestar every quarter comes out with a ranking, and so we were on the Polestar Top 200 on the first quarter. I think we've even moved up a little bit on the second quarter for ticket sales. We are now 75th in the world and 39th in the USA, and Lincoln's responsible for that. I mean, they continue to support us, they continue to come for the shows, but it's really gracious of them to put us on the list, and we're very excited about that.
Yeah, people say we're outperforming our size.
We definitely are. I mean, we're 157th market in the nation, and we're 39th ranked arena in the U.S., and we have some different things going on. We've got a full-time 2 basketball teams and other things like that, which do cut back a little bit. It's not a bad thing. It's just we don't do as many. So it's amazing, and it's a great place. The artists love to come there and play. They love the way it sounds. The artist is so close to the fans this way that it makes a good experience for them too. So they keep coming back.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And a night at Pinnacle Bank Arena is always a treat.
It generally is pretty neat, and even with a basketball team, sometimes if you get a loss, it's still an exciting game. So, but the concerts have just been outstanding.
Well, and I saw 2 cellos which got moved because of stormy conditions, and I don't think they lost anything in the move. Everything was so smooth that night.
They didn't, and we were able to make the call the afternoon before so that we could have production ready in the morning and load it in. And they enjoyed being out of the rain because it rained pretty heavily that day. But it's nice to be able to have both venues and be able to back up. Otherwise, if we lose the show, rarely does it get rescheduled. And then we still have to pay for the guarantees and advertising and production and all those things. So it's a great thing to be able to move it in. We had to do it with 1975 earlier this year, and then also with Toby Mac. But 2 cellos was a pretty cool show.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about what's coming up. Bruno Mars, August 7th. Any tickets left?
You know what? It's sold out. We have, I think, a few singles left, but that's about it. And it's so popular. He has had 155 sold-out dates on this tour.
Wow.
He's sold over 2 million tickets. It's just simply amazing.
Well, he's an amazing artist. So.
And I'm going to talk a little bit about Grammy Awards this time, but Bruno was up for, won the Record of the Year Grammy for 2016 and also the Best Pop Duo Group Performance for 2016. So, I mean, we're getting the top people in the nation, and it's really exciting. Bruno's just been a great one all along. To have him come here to Lincoln, it's very nice.
It's very nice. Let's talk about the crazy weekend. We're going to start with RibFest. August 17th through the 19th is going to be kind of a busy time for you.
It is, and RibFest is back. This is our 21st year. It's over in the festival space, so if you haven't been up to it yet since, you probably came a few years ago, you haven't been to the new site yet. It's north of the arena. You come up and cross over on the Lincoln Bridge, or you come around on the Salt Dog side and park. We have parking out there in Salt Dog's lot. And you come in, we've still got all the great vendors there. We've got great local music, lots of tables, tent, shade. You can grab a cool beverage. It's just fun. It's just, terrific food again. And the nice thing that I always liked about RibFest is people sit and talk to their neighbors and they see their friends. We've had groups plan their events around RibFest. They'll come and they'll bring a cake and they'll have a birthday party. So just a lot of fun things. So that's what we're doing for a base that weekend.
I want to mention the bands. AM/FM on Thursday, Emmett Bauer Band on Friday, and the great Josh Hoyer with Soul Colossal on Saturday.
We've
so
got
great
some
lineup.
really good guys coming in, and we really kind of went local this year. There's so many great local bands that have a national presence now that we wanted to feature those guys and girls, and it's going to be a great one.
Well, let's talk about the craziness that ensues. I see a couple of fighters behind you on screen. So
Yeah.
tell us about the big bout.
So on Saturday night at RibFest, we're going to have Terrence Crawford and Julius Ndongo, and this is a big-time deal. This is ESPN is covering the fight. Top Rank is the promoter. Terrence Crawford, Bud Crawford from Omaha, is an undefeated boxer. He is it's unbelievable. He holds the WBO and WBC 140 belts. Julius Ndongo comes in holding the IBF and WBA belts. So 4 belts will be on the up for grabs on this one. And boxing's coming back now that ESPN is covering these live. They just covered the Pacquiao horn fight recently in Australia that drew 55,000. They're coming to Lincoln. We're going to have this live fight here. We'll have some undercards. This is a really, really big deal, and we're really excited for Terrence to be able to come here. He's worked with Husker coaches. This is his area. He wanted to play in Lincoln. He wanted to show off to his fans here. So it's a big, big deal.
I got a little bit out of order here. Let's back up to Friday night, August 18th, and Kendrick Lamar is back.
Well, so we have Kendrick Lamar, who is one of the top rap artists in the world right now. He's about 30 years old. He's from Compton, California. Kendrick won the Grammy Award for Best Music Video in 2016 and also the award for the Best Rap Sung Performance in 2016. He's got some great hits, Humble, DNA, ADHP. He is kind of the ultimate rapper right now. He's going to come in, big deal to have him in. He's playing just major markets and he's coming out to Lincoln. So we'll have Ribfest starting on Thursday. We've got Kendrick on Friday. We've got the fights on Saturday, all with Ribfest going on. And don't be afraid with the concerts there, because most of the parking for the concerts will occur over on the rail yard side.
Right.
And we have all of the parking out on the Salt Dog side. So come around to that for Ribfest. If you park on the rail yard side, great, come across the bridge. But it's just fun to have all these different things happening at once.
All right, then we have a series of new announcements for Pinnacle Bank Arena, starting with the weekend on September 27th.
Yeah, the Weeknd is really probably the best R&B singer out there right now. He is just won the Grammy Awards for Best R&B Performance in 2016 and the Best Urban Contemporary Album in 2016. Great songs, Reminder, Starboy. This is a big production. We've seen the production headlines for this already, and we've gotten some of the writers. And it is a huge, huge production. This will be an outstanding show. This is selling out all across the country. There are still tickets available for not only Kendrick and the boxing, but also for the Weeknd. And it's it's a nice time. School's back. Football's still going on, but this will be a great thing to come over. And I hope a lot of people come over and see this really, really good performance.
Right, another new announcement, Power Share Series Tennis is coming back. Lincoln native Andy Roddick will be back.
It is. We did this a couple years ago in April, and
it was fun.
It was really
a fun
fun.
Night.
And and I don't know if people know, these are mainly kind of retired. They're not maybe as active as they used to be, but they still have tremendous tennis skills. And so they'll play each other in kind of a little round robin tournament, and they mic these guys up. So you get McEnroe's comments and you get Andy Roddick's comments and everybody else, and it really makes it fun. And these guys haven't lost an inch of their skill.
Oh boy, they're still amazing.
It's just, he can point to a spot in the court and drop it there. These guys are the ultimate tennis players. It's really fun to have them here. It's a very special day, and it's the night before the Wisconsin game. So you know what? Bring friends in, do something a little different. Come to the tennis tournament, watch that, come to see Power Shares, and then go out and have a beverage. And then the next day, have a great day cheering for Wisconsin and Nebraska.
Well, I know Andy Roddick's a big Husker fan, so he just might show up at that game.
I'm kind of thinking he might hit a tailgate or two.
A huge event coming back to Lincoln, and that is the Jay-Z concert, December 6th. This is we're the smallest city on his tour.
We are, and Sean Corey Carter coming back, Jay-Z. He has sold more than 100 million records in his time. He's got only 21 Grammy Awards, so I didn't even put the list there. And let's see what else is special. Oh, he's married to Beyonce, so
yeah, there's that.
He came back. He was one of our first 10 shows at the arena, and if some people remember, we had some issue with some smoke detectors and went off, and he was gracious. He waited to show and finished it up. He wanted to come back. This was one of his targets on there. Lincoln treated him so well. The audience was great. Coming back, this is a big, big deal to have him here. It is one of the top urban artists ever, and we're becoming a really nice little mecca for R&B and urban, and this will be a great play. Crosses all boundaries. You got to come see Jay-Z, and you got to see his set is always very, very extensive, pretty neat.
All right, Lord is coming March 24th. That's kind of the last announcement we have so far.
Right, and this one's pretty far out, having
arena.
it happen way out in March, but her album came out, went right to Billboard's top, number one. She won Grammy Song of the Year in 2014 for Royals, but she's from New Zealand. She is a singer, songwriter, producer, very, very talented. This new album, Melodrama, is doing very, very well. The popularity will continue to grow by the time we get to March. So if you want to get those great tickets, get them now and be ready for that March performance.
All right, let's head out to Pinewood Bowl and talk about what's coming up for the rest of this season. Love the 90s, August 10th. Garrison Keillor, August 12th. Logic, August 13th. Another busy time out there.
It is, it's kind of nice to be able to do them back to back like that, or almost back to back, so we can set up once and do all these. But we're covering so many different things at this point. I love the 90s, just a fun night to be out. Lots of great bands from the 90s. Come out and just enjoy yourself. We're kind of relive those great times with those great bands. Then we go right into Garrison Keillor. And Garrison, when he was here about a couple years ago, it was very, very interesting. Terrific music from on stage, and he always does his Tales from Lake Wobegon monologue. But last time as he did it, he walked throughout the audience, so you could reach out and almost touch him. He is a very personable guy. A wonderful evening with him, and can't wait to have him back. Logic is another very, very good rapper. He is a 27-year-old kid. His name is Sir Robert Bryson Hall II. He's from Maryland. Singer, songwriter, record producer. He doesn't have a Grammy Award yet, but he is up this year for Billboard's Music Award for Top Rock Song in 2017. Millions of YouTube views. This kid is coming, and he's gotten about 3 different mixtapes out. You'll see him get more and more popular. See him now before he comes where he gets too big for the arena. Maybe we'll see, but that'll be a great little run out there at Pinewood Bowl.
All right, you've also got an Eclipse weekend show. This would be great the night before the Eclipse. Go see
right.
Joe some great guitar.
Yeah, Joe Bonamassa is just unbelievable. He's been around for a bunch of years. He has several Grammy performance nominations and wins. He is a rock guitarist. If you watch him on YouTube, this guy gets into it. He is so good. Sings, plays, has great people singing and playing with him. I know that NETV featured him and was selling some tickets earlier this year. So Joe Bonamassa will be a hot show out at the Pinewood Bowl, kind of finishes off that really cool weekend for us.
And a couple of new announcements. I think you've kind of lost track of how many shows this season is going to be.
It's going to be 12 or 13 by the time we finish.
We'll go back
up.
and count.
Yep.
But Ween is coming September 1st, and then Wilco.
Yeah, Ween is a alternative rock band, been around for quite a few years. A couple guys who are friends in school started playing together. The neat thing about Ween is that you can call them alternative rock, but they have so many different influences that you'll see some soul and some gospel, and you'll see rap and a little bit of different stuff. So I mean, they're very popular, great following. September 1st, night before a football game, fun night to come out, bring some friends, and then go to the game the next day. And then Wilco. Great band out of Chicago. Wilco has been headlining Lollapalooza for years. Jeff Tweedy is kind of the main guy that's been in the band for a long time. Again, alternative rock. They did some alternative country. A lot of great albums that they've had. Great following. So we've had a really eclectic kind of a Pinewood Bowl season.
That's right.
Where we've had some classic rock, and we just finished up with 2 cellos. We've had comedians, a little bit of everything, and it's been really well received. We love all the support we get from Parks and Rec about being able to do shows out at Pinewood. And it's been a great season, and we're not done yet.
Yeah, and I was out there for Jim Gaffigan. It was a beautiful night.
Yes.
Not hot at all.
Right.
In and out very quickly. Everything is so smooth.
It is, and it's, people are, now that they've been there a few times, they're starting to get the routine. You can come either way. You can come from the west, you can come from the east. I know we've got some roundabout construction there, but the construction company is very mindful of what we do and have been great about it. It's just, we keep getting a few more amenities, and we'll be doing in the next couple years some serious upgrades. So great place to go. The artists love it. And it's fun, it's great to see them walk back off the stage and talk about how neat this was and see the trees. And when we get a breeze out there, it's pretty nice.
Are they trees or cell phone towers?
Well, let's see. We don't know. At least right now, they're mostly trees because...
that was one of the jokes that
I know.
night. So.
Yeah.
All right, the place to go for all the information, pinnaclebankarena.com and pinewoodbowltheater.com. Check out all the great stuff coming up that makes us a great location.
Diane, thank you, and thank you, Lincoln, for all the support.
Thank you, Tom. That is all for this month's Out and About show. I want to thank all the guests today. And if you missed any of the events, stay tuned. We'll be running a list after the show. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you out and about.